Hello everybody, Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk, and thank you very much for joining me today. Now if you are a regular subscriber to my channel, or even if you happen to come across my last tutorial, which I posted on Saturday the 11th of November, you will know that I was all excited to be going to the Stampin' Up demonstrators conference on stage, and I had all my swaps ready, and I was looking to go and exchange my swaps with other Stampin' Up demonstrators and bring them all back and show you all the wonderful things that I swapped for, and also to give you some kind of a sneaky peek, as far as I was allowed, about what's going to be coming up in the next season in the Spring-Summer catalogue, which will be live from the beginning of January. I never actually got to on stage. It's a long and sad story about how I actually didn't get there. And I won't bore you with it here, because bottom line is I've got no swaps, I've got nothing to show you. So if you do want to know what happened, details will be in my blog, and you can nip on over there and find out what it was that went wrong. So it leaves me with a hole in my planning schedule, because I was going to show you those swaps. So I've got to do something else today. So I thought, rather than show you one of my projects, I thought maybe I'd do something a little bit different today, because you know what, we've got this time. So what I thought I'd talk about today is about the ways of colouring that we make available to you from Stampin' Up. So you probably be familiar with the stamping blend, the stamping right, sorry. These are watercolour markers. They are filled with exactly the same ink as we have in our re-inkers and in our stamp pads, and you can probably hear the computer fan is going mad there, and I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping it will calm itself down in a minute. So these have been around for quite some time, and they are really, really useful, really, really good. I make a lot of use of them. Okay, last year we brought out these. These are watercolour pencils, and these are also very useful. The blends are in the full range of Stampin' Up colours, with the exception, I think, of white and vanilla. These are in selected colours only, but as you can see, you've got a good rainbow of them. And most recently, from the beginning of November, we have brought out these. Now this is only part of my collection. These are stamping blends, and these are alcohol markers. So they are like your Pro markers, your Spectrum Noirs, your Copics. Rather than being water-based like Stampin' Right markers, these are alcohol-based, and that means that you can do things with them and get different effects and different results. Okay, so again, they are in a selected range of colours. They're not in every single one of the Stampin' Up colours, but you get you have a choice of a light and a dark of the same colour. So this is light Daffodil Delight, and there's also a dark Daffodil Delight. Okay, again, not in all the Stampin' Up colours, in a range of colours, but you can buy these in twos. So you can buy the pair of the light and the dark, or you can buy them individually, which is a good thing, because if you're like me, you have your favourite colours, and you run out of your favourite colour before you run out of anything else. These are not refillable, but you just buy a new marker. And we've also added to the range one that you can see there, which is a colour lifter, and there's also a that one's bronze, and I think that's ivory, or it may be in my other box of colours, which are very useful for skin colours. So what I thought I'd do today is I thought I would take the same image, which is from Country Living, and I thought I would colour one with the blends, one with the watercolour pencils, and one with the Stampin' Right markers, and we could see how they compare and contrast. So probably going to be a lot of speeded up video, otherwise we're going to be here for hours, and there'll probably be a lot of music to listen to. So if you're interested in that, then stay with me and we'll crack on. for a fair comparison, I'm going to try and keep to pretty much the same palette for all three versions. I'm going to start with the Stampin' Right version. I've got my track from Country Living stamped onto some shimmering white with archival black ink. And I've also got my blender pen, and I've got a block here so that I can blend my colours. Now, I can, if I want, start with my Stampin' Right markers and just go straight onto my card. And the reason why I'm using the shimmering white is that it's got a bit more, it's a bit more water resistant. It takes water better than the than Whisper White, even the thick Whisper White. So you know, these are water based, and you are going to be adding moisture, so you want to kind of do it as little as possible. So I've gone straight onto the shimmering white with my markers, and now I'm just pulling out some of the colour because I want quite a dark colour here. Okay, this is my Old Olive. I think you probably figured that one out. Colours I'm using, by the way, I've got Old Olive, I've got Pumpkin Pie, I have some Crumb Cake, and I've got a bit of Soft Sky, Smoky Slate, and Basic Grey. Okay, so as you can see, I've pulled that colour out a little bit there, and I'm now going to go on to my favourite technique for using these, which is to scribble onto a block and pick it up with my blender pen. And that gives me a colour that's not quite as strong as putting it straight down, but is more intense than just pulling the colour out. Okay, I've got paper down to protect my work surface, and I've got a bit of really scrap paper here for kind of scribbling on. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with that, so I'm going to work on the rest of it, and you can watch while I speed this up, and I'll give you some music to listen to. Now I'm going to work on the pencil version, and the colours that I'm going to be using are Old Olive and Pumpkin Pie, Basic Grey, and I've got Bermuda Bay, Basic Black, and Early Espresso. They don't do Crumb Cake in the pencils. I've also got a couple of these. These are paper stumps, and you can get them from anywhere that, that has art supplies. All right, they're very inexpensive, but I'm going to be using them to help blend my colours in. So same again, going to start with the Old Olive, and I'm going to begin by colouring in my grass. I've also got a blender pen, which may come into play later on. Haven't quite decided yet. Okay, and if I want to get a lot of coverage, I'm just going to lay my pencil flat rub it at that angle. Okay, so I'm going to crack on with this. Computer is having a think about turning off its fan. So for the version with the Stampin' Blends, I've stamped in Memento ink onto Whisper White card. The Memento ink, it's important, don't use archival because the Stampin' Blends will make it move, and your colours will go muddy and you won't like that. And I've got Dark and Light Crumb Cake, Dark and Light Smoky Slate, Dark and Light Pumpkin Pie, Dark and Light Old Olive, Light Pool Party, and the Stampin' Colour Lifter. Okay, so I'm going to start with the lighter version of the colour, and I'm just going to lay down a kind of a bed of it, a layer of it. Okay. Now I'm going to take the darker version and just put some of that into place. Okay. And the nice thing about these is that you can go over and over and over them and really layer up the colour, and you can put quite a lot of this on before your paper starts to break down. So I'm just going to carry on with colouring this one in. So, I opened the wrong end of the pen there, because these pens are double-ended, and one end is a brush marker and the other is more of a fine-tipped marker. So I just thought I'd show you that. they are, my 3 versions of the same truck coloured in with 3 different media. So this one here, I used the pencils. This one is the Stampin' Blends, and this is the one that I coloured in using the Stampin' Write markers. And as you can see, there's a lot of difference, certainly with the one that used the Stampin' Blends. The colours are a lot more vibrant, but the colours in the other two, I think this one is probably the most subtle version. That's the one with the markers, and this one is kind of in between. And yeah, of course you can build up the colour. Certainly with the pencils, you can build up the colour. You can put layer on layer and layer, and you can make it as vibrant as you like. This one, I think, you're probably a little bit more limited because the markers are wet. Unless you've got a fairly robust paper, they will begin to lift the surface of your paper if you apply too much moisture. But I just want to show you one more version, and this one, I've left something wet sitting on it, so it's got wet in the corner, so kind of ignore that bit. But this one was done using the Stampin' Blends, but I also went back over it with the pencils, and as you can see, that has helped me deepen the colour and to get you know, and to get, for me, a kind of richer effect. But at the end of the day, it's horses for courses. I think if I was doing something that I wanted a fairly watercolory look, then I would probably go for one of these two, whereas if I wanted vibrant colour, then, you know, the blends are going to be what I reach for. But that is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's a bit of a departure from my normal videos, and I hope that you will forgive me. Thank you very much for staying with me till now. Please do come back and see me another time, but for now, bye bye.